Okay, so I'm just going to grab my screen. Use a 160 for the gold part. I'm just going to grab my screen out of my screen dryer that I've shown you guys before, and I'm going to line up. My screen. So I have on my little template here, on my little wood template, I have the center marks. So I'm just going to line up my registration marks. And again, if you see my other videos, you want this to be face down. And I'm just going to line it up right on the center line, so that it's nice and squared up. That's going to make registration easier when I register this thing. So I'm going to tape this thing down. It doesn't have to be, whoops, a little bit too much tape. It doesn't have to be super well taped down, but I like to tape it just so it doesn't slide a little bit. And then I'm going to take my plexiglass, throw it on here. I'm having a little problem with my little yellow light bulb, so I throw my plexiglass on here, and then I'm going to set it up to get burned. Okay, so this is just a little foam. I think it's a 3-inch foam. I cover it with a black shirt. And the reason I cover it with a black shirt is because when you have your UV light on, you don't want the UV light to be bouncing up off of a white surface onto the bottom of your screen. So this shirt is cut just about the exact same size as my screen. So I'm going to throw this on here so that it's nice and tight. Fits down over the black shirt. It's a little bit of a tight fit. I like it to be tight so that, there we go. So it's a little bit of a tight fit, getting the shirt on there, but it looks like, I don't know what's going on with my yellow light bulb, so I'm going to see if I can get this done. So now I'm just going to, and I think I've told you guys this before, my burn time is almost exactly 1 minute, so I'm going to burn this thing, and I'll show you what that looks like in fast motion, and we'll go from there. Okay, now I'm just going to take it over to my washout booth, which is right here, and we'll wash this thing out. And you want to do that as quickly as possible. You want to get water on it. I shouldn't be wasting this time. So I've actually wasted quite a bit of time here. Hopefully this is going to come out okay. I'm trying to get everything set so that you can see really well. So this is my washout booth. One of the things that I didn't mention earlier is some people have asked, it's not the stupidest thing in the world. You want to take your film off before you wash this thing out. So first thing is you just want to wet it a little bit on both sides. And hopefully you can see this on the camera. Just getting it a little bit wet, you can immediately see the image. And I'm going to use my pressure washer, but I use it without the pressure. So it's just a nice light stream. It's a little bit loud, so I usually let the water sit on it just for about 60 seconds. It loosens up the emulsion, and then we're just gonna spray it right out. So I'll show you what that looks like. Hopefully the time that I've wasted is not going to affect the way that it comes out. So again, I'm just wetting it just to loosen up the emulsion, and then I'll actually try to wash out the image in about 30 seconds. I've wondered this before, if it makes a difference with whether you wash it out from the inside or the outside. I've never really got a definitive answer that says, yes, you should do it this way, and I've never really noticed a difference, so I just pretty much wash out however it comes out. So. Hopefully you can see this, the light is really coming through. as the emulsion's washing out. And there it is. It's really a clean image. Now I'm gonna dry this thing off, and I'm gonna put it in my drying cabinet and let this thing dry for about an hour. Okay, so I'm gonna try to go through the entire process, start to finish, the way I normally would, just quickly, and hopefully you'll see what this looks like. One of the things I did want to mention is when I'm lining this up, one of the reasons why I use this template underneath is because I want my registration to be as easy as possible, the way that my screens line up to be as easy as possible. So I definitely want to try to get the screens in the same spot, because I want these two images to line up. I want them to line up in the exact same spot on the screen. It'll make it easier to register it later. So, like I said, I'm going to put these together and see how this goes. So if I was going to go start to finish, I would set up my screen, and start to finish the process probably takes about 3.5 minutes. So here we go. All right, so that's it, start to finish. Took me 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Really clean. I want to get this drying as soon as possible, but I just want to talk a little bit about some troubleshooting things. So like if you look at this, the lines on this are really clean. That my timing is dialed in, just from experience. It takes a while to get there. My timing is dialed in, but the lines are really clean. The longer that you leave water on this, and I like to just kind of shake some water off of this thing. Sometimes I use a blower to blow water off of it. But right now I'm gonna get it in my dryer as soon as possible. The lines are super clean, and that's one of the reasons why I don't use the pressure on my pressure washer, is because you don't want to blow out your lines. Your fine detail, even though this isn't a very fine detailed image, you can see even on these registration marks, that's a really, I think it's a 0.5 thing in Illustrator, I don't know what you call it, but it's a very fine line, and it comes out really cleanly, and that's just because I don't use the pressure because it'll blow it out, and you'll see waves in the line. It won't be a nice clean line. It'll be wavy. It'll maybe lose little edges, and that's the last thing you want. If you're trying to get something really fine, fine detail, you want a higher mesh. This is only a 160 mesh, but the important thing is just making sure that you have your pressure where it needs to be. Sometimes if you overexpose a little bit, you'll need a little more pressure, but I have my times really dialed in, and I feel like I'm in a really good place as far as getting my detail exactly where I want it. So I'm gonna get this drying, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull out a different screen that's already been dried. Usually I leave the screens in for about an hour to make sure that they're completely dried before I take them out. Once I've taken the screens out, sometimes I will post-expose them, and basically what that means is I'm just going to take it out, put it in the sun for a couple minutes on both sides, and that'll really lock in the image. So after drying completely, like I said, this is a different image. I'll just pull out my screen, and then I'll take it out, and we'll post-expose it. Okay, so the last step in the process is I just like to take my screen out. I put it in the sun for a few minutes. It's June, so the sun's beating really hard. This will expose it. In the wintertime or in colder climates, when it's raining, whatever, you can't take it outside in the sunlight in the evening. I'll just put it under my UV light for a few minutes on both sides. Make sure that the image is really locked in, and so that way it's ready to go on the press. So after a couple minutes in the sun, I'll take this in and it'll be ready to go. So anyway, this thing's ready for press. So thank you for watching the video. Hopefully you learned something from it and got a little bit of help. Let me know in the comments if I can do anything to help you out, and happy printing.